was it 2010 that you moved to Germany full time?
2012, because then I went
2012.
back. I worked a year in Mexico until this guy scaled his agency, and then he brought me in 2012. And from
So that's like
2012, I'm fully living here.
13 years or something at this point that you've been in Germany full
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time, more than a decade in Germany. Um, was it difficult for you at the beginning to kind of integrate into German culture and society?
I mean, yes, yeah, totally. I mean, I experienced that in when I came here to try to find my internship. I thought that, I mean, when German people, when I was meeting Europeans or German people in Mexico, I always thought they were very open because they were like willing to try everything and hang out, and that was like what I knew. I remember in my local church is this kind of typical American style of church, so they will always bring sometimes Americans to do, I don't know, an internship or something there. And I was also having that feeling that, okay, Mexicans, they take a foreigner and they try to show them everything, take them to the restaurant they want to, their favorite restaurant, or to invite them to a birthday party and so on. I arrived here and I thought I was going to have the same experience. I was in a sharing a flat with some other German students, and I thought this was going to be the experience. I thought, okay, they're going to be very open and everything. And at the end, was the whole opposite. I felt like it was hard to integrate. It was, and I also had that. I had the feeling that they had a different expectation for me as a Mexican, because the image that most Europeans or maybe North Americans have about Latin people is that you're like very open, extrovert, party people, and so on. But not everyone is like that. I'm an introvert, so I need more time to get to know the people, and also I'm not gonna be the loud guy who likes to party and do salsa and so on. So a part of me thought, was that the expectation that they had to me, and were maybe that disappointed that I was not like the, hey guys, let's put some salsa music and let's do some burritos here in the kitchen. Yeah. I was not like that, and I don't know if they were like somehow disappointed. And it felt very difficult to meet people, to make friends. I ended up actually hanging out with a group of Hispanic people that I met in a meetup, and I continue to hang out with them because I felt like very hard to find a common interest with the locals. So yeah, and I hear that from a lot of people that they find it sometimes difficult. Yeah.
I've heard that as well. Yeah, I think Germans have a bit of a reputation for being more reserved, a little bit harder to get to know. And that really did surprise me when I went to Germany as well. I thought that I wasn't expecting that at all. I guess I didn't know that stereotype before I went. I have German family. My last name is very German, and on both sides, my mom and my dad, if you trace it back far enough, it goes to Germany. We're very far removed from that culture nowadays, but I thought that it was something that I would adapt to very easily being there. Like I look like someone who could, be in Germany, and
Yeah.
and I thought I was more similar, I guess. And then when I got there, I noticed the same thing, that people really weren't interested in me. Like they weren't interested in helping me really, or talking to me, because I was just some random person. Where I guess I thought that people would, I don't know, take me under their wing and show me Germany or help me do things. And even when I asked for help at like stores and stuff, I had issues with my SIM card. I wanted to rent a bicycle, and people were almost like disinterested in my problems. Like I'd be like, I have this issue, and they're like, yeah, that sucks. And I'm like, can you help me though? And they're like, well, I guess if I have
Yeah.
to.
Now that you mentioned that, I remember, for example, the first when I came here. Well, I arrived like near Hanover, and my girlfriend, she took me to her WG, to her shared flat. She was living with. They were five in total. So she told me, yeah, today is a cool day. We're doing some barbecue, so there's some friends over, so it will be nice. So we arrived to her flat. They were in the balcony doing some barbecue. Well, it's Germany, and their student, it was a vegan barbecue. Not so fun. That was my first cultural shock. I didn't know that back then that barbecues could be vegetarian. And then I arrive and they say, okay, these are my flatmates. Hi, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And then, all right. And they continue their conversation. I was like, oh, okay. I thought they might want to ask me more questions or something, or I had the opportunity to ask them, hey, what do you do? What do you study or something? And I was like, that I think that was my first shock that I thought, oh, okay, here are things a bit different. Yeah.
And I mean, the German rebuttal to that is always like, with enough time, Germans will warm up to you, but you just kind of have to prove yourself, or you have to break through this hard exterior layer of friendship. Has that been your experience as well? Like, I mean, 13 years in, I'm sure you've had long-term friendships with Germans.
Yeah. I mean, but it is, it is not with everyone, but I mean, I remember there was a guy, and actually, in reality, he's very German, very German. But for some reason, we clicked, and he was very intentional. So he said, "Hey, let's hang out. Um, do you have a girlfriend?" I said, "Yes. I also have a girlfriend. I think we're the same age, so let's hang out." I was at the beginning a skeptic. He's like who wants to, he's like a swinger date or something, but it wasn't. And then we went out, had some ice cream, and then we kind of fit together. But it was like I was not expecting that was going to be like such an intentional move from a German person. The thing here, it was that he was also new in the city, so he wanted to meet new people. I think that was the thing. So he was German, but also wanting to know more people in the city. And then we are friends also, like, since, I don't know, more than 10 years. Yeah. And is the most German person I know, because it's like all the stereotypes of a German. He is that, with the exception that they were spontaneous. He will write, "Hey, you doing something today? Want to go for a walk in a coffee?" And I was like, oh, that's very anti the pattern. Yes, sure, let's do it, because I'm like that. That's my culture. That's how we are. We like to plan things for the day, not for in 2 weeks. That was the thing also that shocked me, that if I wanted to do something with someone, they will be booked like weeks. And that was like a bit, yeah, maybe in 2 weeks, I don't feel like doing that.
Right. Yeah. I want to do it today, not in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, from the outside, Mexican culture and German culture seem like they couldn't be any farther apart. Like I mean, I don't know a lot about Mexican culture specifically, but there are some cultural traits that I think Latin countries share, right? And I lived in Colombia for a while, and the way that people are being, they're very open, they're very inviting, they're very I don't know. They're just generally looking for a good time and very friendly with people. And Germans, as we were talking about, aren't really so much like that. I found Colombians to be very expressive people as well. Not shy to share their emotions. And I don't see that with Germans, at all. And so there's lots of things that seem like they'd be really different. Like, for a Mexican person going to Germany for the first time, what are some of the biggest differences you think would stand out to them?
I mean, from them, they think of us like unreliable because, yes, we come late. Yeah, that's something that it is true. It's a stereotype, and it's true. It's true. We come
Latino
late.
Time.
Latino time.
Yeah.
And it takes a while until you understand that if you say at 4, it's at 4. So, but eventually you get used to that. You adapt yourself, and then you go back to your hometown, and then you are the weird guy because you're always punctual. But that's, for example, one thing that shocks them. The other one is like that you don't say things so direct, and the Germans are very direct. If they don't like something, they say it directly. I think that is for all Latin people. I would assume that you try to not to be so harsh. So if you don't like something about someone, you will try to find a way to say it indirectly. Or if you invite someone over, if you tell them, "Hey, we're going out tomorrow to play, I don't know, soccer. Would you like to come?" And you, as a Latin person, will say, I'm not sure. Maybe. I'll give you a call if I come. That's a nice way of saying no. And
Right.
a German person will tell you, oh, no, no, thank you. I don't like soccer, whatever. And they will feel like, that's so rude. Well, you just said no. And in Mexican or in Latin, you will say somehow yes, but there are words that you know that is a no. You meet someone in the
Sure.
street that you know, hey, how's it going? Yeah, very good. Hey, let's do something one day. Yeah, sure, let's do something. You leave and you will never meet that person again in your life. But that's how you say, I appreciate that I have seen you and I would like to see you, but I won't. And that's it. And those things would freak out a German, or I think any white country, maybe. I cannot generalize, but I would say many Europeans or maybe Americans or Canadians, maybe they will be a bit irritated that they say we should do something, but they never call me. So what is that? Yeah.
I mean, I think Canadians are kind of in between those two. Like, we're not as reserved as Germans. You know, like it really stood out to me how direct Germans were when I was there. Canadians are, we are more, a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, like a little bit more diplomatic, a little bit more, yeah, we have to explain things in a nice way, but not to the degree I think that Latinos are. And so we're kind of in a weird position where I feel like as a Canadian, I can see a little bit of both, but I'm not fully in either one. You know, with Germans, I get that they just want to say what matters. Like, let's not waste our time. Let's communicate authentically. I get that. And then from the Latin side, I also understand that sometimes words don't have to have a literal meaning. It can be about bonding. It can be about relationship. And you can say things like, hey, you know, let's hang out even if you don't want to, because it makes that interaction more pleasant for both people. Even if you're not going to hang out later, it's just more pleasant in the moment. So I kind of get both sides of it. And Canadians, I think, are like a very unique combination of both, where sometimes when I was in Colombia, you know, my wife or my girlfriend at that time, she would tell me that I was being too direct with people. Like I needed to be nicer. Like I would send a text to our landlord or something and I'd say, hey, I just want to know about this. And then I'd give the phone to my girlfriend and she would add a paragraph before that of saying, hey, how are you? How are things going? And then she would ask the question, you know, so she would make it sound nicer than I would have said it. And so I've seen that. Also, what you were saying about when you make plans with somebody and then you have to cancel, or if someone invites you to something and you want to say no, a lot of times my wife will be like, oh, we're invited to this thing. Oh, tell them that I'm not feeling well. And I go, why? Just tell them that we can't make it. No. Tell them that we're busy that day. Tell them that this, and I like that there has to be a reason that you can't come to something where I kind of just think, well, just say that it won't work out. You don't have to go into details. Just say, sorry, I can't make it. But for her, that's not offering enough information. It's not quite nice enough, you know? And so, and that's another example where I'm maybe a little bit more direct. So I kind of see it both ways.
Yeah. But the one thing that I can say about German, and I think that's a good thing, is that they are reliable. If a German says he will do something, he will be there. So he says, okay, I'm RSVPing your birthday party, they will be there. If they say they will come to your wedding, they will be there. In Mexico happens that you invite people to the wedding, they say they will come to the wedding, and then they don't show up to a wedding. And it's like, who says, yes, I will come, and then at the end they don't come? People already pay your plate.
Right.
Things like, if you ask a German to move out, you're moving out and you need some extra help. And if they say yes, they will help. So that's a very positive thing. Things that if I ask my Latino friends, it's like flipping a coin. You don't know if they're actually going to show up, or maybe they will come late. But if a German person says they will come, they will be there. In our wedding, my girlfriend, now my wife, she asked to a lot of people to help us with the decoration for the garden for the wedding. And I remember my mom and my sister, they were very surprised that people actually showed up to help. And I was like, yeah, true. Yeah. If you ask for help and they say yes, they will come. If they, but if they can't, they will say no. And that's the thing. You can trust their word because the Latinos, they will not tell you no. If I tell you no, that's a bit rude. Or maybe I will do it with an excuse. Or they will say, yes, yes, let's see if I can make it. If I can make it, I will let you know. And then you know it's a no. But it's not that clear that it's a no. But if you say no, that is a bit rude. And like same thing that you said in Colombia.